Hello and welcome back to this channel. Today we're going to go through some wreaths which Elizabeth of StudioE has made, and she goes through all of the steps in her blog. Elizabeth has made a variety of wreaths, one of which is this first bubble wreath. I love this bubble wreath. I had it on my idea board for quite some time. She made it just in time for me to display it at the show when the house was complete. She also made this holly and berry a frosted wreath using holly wire and some beads to look like berries. That's quite charming. This next one is a overstuffed apple and walnut wreath using preserved lycopodium as its base. It's absolutely gorgeous. And this wreath with the walnut halves is the one that I'm going to be doing at the end of this demonstration. But first, let's go through the process as Elizabeth has done it. She took a string of holly, made it into the shape of a wreath, and she took a second strand of greenery and made it into a circle, and then wound the two together so as to give more bulk and fill in the little gaps, as you can see here. It measures about, I would say, about 1.5 inches. She cut a length of silk ribbon, about 7 inches, to wrap around the circumference of the wreath. And to do that, she put a little bit of glue at the end of the silk ribbon, then wrapped the ribbon around over the frame and back onto itself. And this frame, you see that she gave the wreath a slight trim that needed a little bit of a haircut to make it all nice and even. Then she cut off some holly leaves from another strand of holly wire and glued them into the evergreen, tucking them under the silk ribbon using the same high-tack fabric glue to keep them in place. If you don't have that kind of wire with the holly berries, you can make your own. Sometimes people find these bunches at the dollar store, or you can make them by folding some green paper, drawing in half, drawing the half of the shape of the holly, and then cutting them out. Since the colors of the holly and the evergreen are nearly the same, she felt she needed to give it a little bit of contrast. So she painted the leaves, or some of the leaves, she touched them up with a lighter green for contrast, using a leaf green acrylic paint and a tiny brush to carefully paint each leaf. Once the leaves were painted, Christmas-colored no-hole beads were added to the wreath. And by first painting the leaves with a light coat of Mod Podge, then still while using the wet paintbrush, she lifted the berries with the paintbrush tip and placed them onto the still damp podge at the base of the holly. Note, using the wet brush as a tool to pick up and transfer the beads to the wreath worked better and faster than trying to apply them with a pair of tweezers. Some additional texture was added to the wreath by using dried cardamom seeds purchased from the spice section of the supermarket. They were broken in half, putting them between your two fingers and pressing down, and they sort of split. And then she glued the halves onto the wreath with the fabric adhesive. She used a yellow fabric paint mixed with water to lighten up and do a thin wash over some of the holly, just to give it a little bit more life. Lastly, she added a silk bow to the top of the wreath, and there you are. Here you see a resin Santa wreath, and these resin Santa heads were removed from a cheap pair of seasonal earrings. To accommodate the Santa heads, she found that she had to make the diameter of the wreaths a little bit wider than the previous one we just discussed. So planning ahead really helps, so that if you have an item you want to use in your wreath and it's bigger, obviously the measurement I give you in the beginning is not going to be wide enough. She threaded the evergreen wire through the existing metal loop on the top of the hat to secure the heads to the frame. And the center wreaths measure about 2 inches across and were super quick and easy to do because the big decorative item was the center head. Let's go through some of the materials. Here is the holly string, and then there are two kinds of evergreen. I have this one. This is nice and narrow, and then there's this other one which is a little furrier, and we can take a little bit of that. So I have here various sizes of rustic kind of grapevine wreath. As you can see, there's a smaller one and yet a smaller one and smaller. I have a bunch of these, and you could certainly use one of these to embellish as a Christmas wreath. Probably the size that I will work on today is going to be around this size. And this size is about a 1 3/4, which is a fair size. Sorry for the glare. Or let's see, in centimeters, it is about 5 centimeters. The one that Elizabeth worked on is more this size. This is on the outside diameter. It measures 1.5 inches, or about 4 centimeters, a little less than 4 centimeters. In this particular thing, because it is an decorative item, it does not need to be exact. You get the feeling for what you want. We're also going to use silk thread as opposed to the polyester thread, because this really is manageable. You can shape it. I've been collecting lots of stuff, so this is something else that I'm going to use for baubles on the wreath, which will look pretty. This is also from sprigs of Christmas decorations, Christmas flowers, and I think I picked these up at Michael's many years ago. Here's another one that's kind of shiny. I like that, and we'll see if we can do little batches of 3s to put them on the wreath. So for now, that's all I'm going to use. Let's get started. Here is the holly, which I'm shaping into a circle. I'm going to go twice around, and I think I may just leave it. This would be nice if I used it a little bit as a base. Yeah, I think I might do that as well. I'm going to cut maybe about 6 inches, just enough to go around. I'm just going to go around like this, and actually it also, besides bulking it up, it also gives you a little bit more texture in your wreath. So here we go, like this, all around, shaping it into a circle. Probably a bit bigger, so you try and squish it in a little bit. Okay, what's my size here? Let's check. So I went, 1 3/4. It's about the size that I had said I was going to do. It's a little bit less, so that's all right. And there's your wreath. Okay, so now it's time to wrap the ribbon around the wreath shape. Put a little bit of glue at the end here so that it can stay down and hold on to the wreath somewhat. Gather it up, pinch it a little bit. Now this one is a little bit narrower than the one I showed you to begin with. Here's the one I showed you to begin with. This is the other one. I decided that it may be a little bit too wide. This one is about, I don't know, about 3/16, and this one is probably about 1/8 of an inch. And I think that it's just wide enough for winding. Right, you're supposed to stay put there. There you go. And go around like that. Doesn't have to be even, but as pleasing as you want it to be to your eye. And for me, I'm okay with this. So let's see. Okay, and well, that 7 inches is just enough to go around. Put another little dab of glue on the ribbon, and okay, so now it's time to decorate, and I have decided that I'm going to be using these because they're pretty and they shine in the light. They're not glittery, they just shine. So I'm going to take these 3 and I'm going to wire them together, because it's either wire or thread, but I happen to have very fine wire and it makes it easy to manage. Easier for tying as opposed to thread. So like that. And so now I've got a little combination of 3. I'm going to cut off this excess. I only need a little bit left, and I will cut away the wire that I do not need, like so. Not too close or you will undo the whole thing. Okay, and you're going to take a generous amount of glue, and I'm going to put a batch right in there, generous amount, and I'm going to pop this into it. Kind of reminds me of Christmas when I see something like that. I don't know why. So let's see, let's put that together like this. We're going to make 2 more. Here are the 3 of them, ready made. A little bit too much of the stem showing here. We'll fix that. Now, just to make sure that they stay in place, I dropped a little bit of Gorilla Glue into the center of each. That way when it's dry, it'll be nice and firm. Now we're going to do a bow, or you can do 3 little bows. 1, 2, 3. Now you're wondering why I've got a comb here. I have a bow maker. You think I could find it, but anyway, some people use a fork. So you take your ribbon like that and bend it over, and then go behind, and with your tweezers you grab it from the center, bring it forward, and you can tie your bow. And I do have a little bow maker, and I'll show you on a future video because today I can't find it. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to, the bow maker is good because I can actually just place it down. There you go. There's a bow. I'm going to cut up the tails. Now you take it out, and you have a cute little bow like that. And you can put it on the top of your wreath like this. So let's do that. On Elizabeth's instructions, she also talked about cardamom seeds, and this is what they are. Pinching them between your fingers. I pinched one. I was not that successful. I'm going to try doing this one for you. Just doing it like that. Nope, that one isn't going to be successful either. Some of them aren't. But then, well, okay, I just kept going, and there it is. That give you the lovely little walnut half. It's very convincing. So that's it for now, and hope you try one, and I'm sure you'll put your mind to it and make a lovely one. Share ones you make, send it to me. I'll post it on our Instagram page. And for now, I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll be back with more.